Hi, I'm Perry Atkinson, General Manager here at theDove. Hey, check out our other videos and check out our website at thedove.us. Welcome back. Earlier today, I mentioned during the morning news that what do you think of pirates and farmers? Well, it's a reality, believe it or not. I am delighted to have in the studio with us today Denette Fretz. She is a local author, and she has started a new children's series. It's gotten great reviews, and the first one is Pirates on the Farm. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a very exciting process.
Yeah, and Denette is one of the teachers as well at Grace Christian Schools, and here she is. She's authored this book. It's doing very, very well. Where do you come up with this stuff?
Well, I believe in God's gifting.
Yeah.
And I have always wanted to write. My second grade teacher told me that maybe the reason that I needed glasses was because I wrote too long of stories. And so I believe it's God's gifts, and God gifts each one of us in different ways. And before I write, I sit down and I pray. And I can't really take a lot of credit. It's like if I gave you a car and you got that brand new car, all you could say is it's a gift. You couldn't say I worked for it, I did it, I picked it out, but it was a gift that you've been given. So
very
I really
imaginative.
Thank you.
Very imaginative, and the illustrations in these books is true. What's your target range age-wise? What are you going for here?
Well, technically they say ages 4 to 7. I believe you can go beyond ages 4 to 7. I have teacher friends that use it at Grace at higher levels. You can get into more of the critical thinking skills with it. I use some higher vocabulary, but marketing-wise, they say ages 4 to 7.
Fascinating story. Can you tell us a little bit without giving it all away, what the story is?
Well, this is a story about 5 pirates who move into a proper little southern community they're not thrilled about having pirates next door, and specifically they move next to a family called the Sanders family. And I use the name Sanders because it's a derivative of Alexander, which means defender of men. And the father in this story is a defender of men. And every person in the family has a different reaction to the pirates moving next door. The little boy Joy, he's all like, woohoo, there are pirates next door. And the mother's like, oh, there are pirates next door, and wants to get rid of them. And then the daughter is the narrator, and she's kind of ambivalent. She doesn't really have an opinion. She narrates the story. And so it talks about them trying to assimilate into this community, and they are very poor farmers, which brings a lot of humor to the book. And then how there's the reaction over time to these pirates, and how love brings them into the community.
Fascinating. There's some illustrations. Those watching on theDove TV can see some of the illustrations out of it. It's just so wonderfully done. And here it is, Denette, right here out of Medford, getting this world attention. This is great. The books are available at the stores.
Correct. They're available anywhere books are sold, basically Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. Evangel carries them in stock. You can get them right down at Evangel.
Yeah, check it out. All right, and number 2.
Right.
What has this been? This is hasn't been released yet.
That's my advance copy. The date is September 2nd, and those are also available for pre-order right now. But basically, the premise of the Next Door series, it's a series called the Next Door series. The basic premise is to love your neighbor as yourself. It's the second commandment, and my goal for the series was that parents have another way of teaching their kids again and again and again, like it talks in Deuteronomy, about loving your neighbor as yourself. So this one was to love your neighbor no matter who your neighbor is.
Okay.
This one is more love your enemies. And so this is Conrad. He's a wannabe cowboy, and I just tagged one picture in here that Jean did that's fantastic. That's one of my favorites. So this is Conrad right here. And
pictures can zoom in on that or not. Yeah, there you go.
He's a city slicker with a penchant for first aid, and you can see his first aid kits. If you know anything about kids, they love Band-Aids, and Conrad loves Band-Aids and first aid kits, and he's a city slicker who wants to be a cowboy, goes to his Uncle Clint's ranch, and there is a know-it-all cowgirl next door.
Conrad and the cowgirl. There you go. Really, huh? And what happens here, just roughly?
Roughly, it's really fun because it has a lot of cowboyisms in it, like do not squat with spurs on. And the hardest thing about learning to ride is the ground.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of cowboyisms, but he is there. She's always telling him what he's doing wrong. And she has her own calamity befall her, and he has a choice to make. Is he going to love his enemies, love his neighbor, or is he going to walk away?
Fascinating. All right, and book 2 will be out when?
September 2nd.
September 2nd. Congratulations, Conrad and the Cowgirl. Well, these are, again, you can check out Denette's work on their Facebook page, and that is the Next Door series. And you can check it out there and get a copy of these books for your children. Again, same age bracket?
Same age bracket, target audience 4 to 7. There's a parent letter in the back of each one, and I say in the parent letters to go ahead and do what's age appropriate for your child. So both of them have a parent letter with relevant scriptures.
Okay.
So for instance, this one talks about discussing Matthew 22:39, which is that the second greatest commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself, and also the parable of the Good Samaritan is in here to discuss with your child in relationship to that. And so that's why I say it says 4 to 7. Your 4-year-olds are going to more have fun with the pictures and, you know, basic story. Your older kids, you can get deeper into it in those discussions with your kids. So there's a parent letter for parents back here to do what's appropriate for their child.
And this one here, you're saying check out Matthew 5, Romans 12, and some other verses there.
Correct.
All right. Yeah, this is fascinating. What's it like to see something you work on actually come off the press and published?
It's been a lifelong dream.
Really?
And I tried for years and years and years. And I tried on my own. I tried small, independent companies. I tried doing it, and I couldn't get it off the ground until I got an agent. But it's one of those things you prayed for years and years and years. And then to see it's amazing.
I can't imagine.
And then, you know, the other part of it is that I've felt like it's immeasurably more. It's more than I was trying for on, you know, my own to get in there just as an independent. One thing I've learned through this process is that I don't have to do it all on my own. There's a lot of other people out there to help you, and I've learned to accept help.
It's just amazing, and it is a gift. You do a wonderful job with this, and I want to encourage you to check them out at Evangel or the bookstores and look for this one in September. This one's out now, Pirates on the Farm. What's next?
Well, hopefully number 3. They haven't committed to it yet, but the number 3 is Working Together, and so I hope that we find a home for that one. So hopefully Zondervan will pick that one up as well. They like the manuscript, and so they're
What's the theme there?
To working together. Okay. So it's working out of Ecclesiastes, where it talks about how one can help somebody up if they've fallen down, and so that scripture in Ecclesiastes.
Are you back on the farm with that one?
No, we're not back on the farm. It's all going to be different neighbors and different situations, different scenarios, because you know you never know who your neighbors are and what it's.
Well, there's so many things about this that is fascinating. Not only is Denette local and getting national attention with her writing and her publishing, but it's putting kids back into reading again, which is so important. You know, you're a teacher, and are kids interested in reading these days?
I would say not as much because of the computer age.
Yeah.
So one of my greatest hopes with these books is that you sit down next to your child. I like Kindles and Nooks for a lot of reasons, but what I don't want to happen with Kindles and Nooks and the ebooks is where I just hand you a tablet and say go read.
Yeah.
And so my hope with these books is that you sit down with your child, they read it together, and you discuss the biblical principles in it.
And the illustrations pull them through.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he's done a wonderful job. Your illustrator is?
Gene Beretta. And he's worked with Sesame Street, he's worked with Between the Lions, he's got a series of inventor books that are very popular. He's been critically acclaimed for a lot of these. Now and Ben, Timeless Thomas, Neo Leo about inventors. Thomas Edison, this is Benjamin Franklin. So he's kind of, I think, got a teacher heart as well, which is what makes it work too, because of his teacher heart.
Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
I've known her struggles in trying to get this published, and now it's done. And let me encourage you to check this one out. This is the one that's available right now, and that's Pirates on the Farm. It's fascinating, and the illustrations are just wonderful. The storyline is just terrific. And again, parents, read the letter to you written by Denette in the back of the book. And then in September, look for number 2. This is the Next Door series, and that'll be Conrad and the Cowgirl. There we go. And anyway, that'll be coming out in September. So, and then the next one, Working Together. We don't know when that will be out, but hopefully soon. There's a picture of the cover of it, so check it out. Well, Denette, congratulations. This is just wonderful. Very proud of you, what you've done. And are you using them in your classroom?
I do. In fact, I use them at listening stations. I talk to my children about it. You know,
what grade do you teach?
I teach first grade.
First grade.
First grade. One of my frustrations as a parent is that you teach biblical principles and you teach them and wanting to see your children apply them. And same thing with first graders. You want to see them apply them. So hopefully these are parables that you can see the Bible in action, and hopefully they will learn to apply them. The other part is that was really exciting is that Scholastic picked it up too. And that was very exciting because they're biblical principles in a secular market, which was part of my hope and part of my goal. So they have it available in their book market. This is the Scholastic version of it. And so that was thrilling to me because it still has, like Jean has drawn in the scene, there's a church scene, and in the back there are little plaques. They love the Lord your God, love your neighbor. And part of my prayer and my hope for this was to get those biblical principles into a secular market, and that's God, and that's happening. So I'm really thrilled about that.
Well, congratulations. That is just wonderful. Check them out. Well, check this one out first. It's available to you. Pirates on the Farm. That'll be at Evangel or online, Barnes & Noble, Amazon. And then September, look for Conrad and the Cowgirl. And that'll be coming out sometime in September. Thank you.
You're welcome. I will be signing books at Evangel on September 20th from 1 to 3, so they can come there, and I will be there then. It is available for pre-order now there. You can save a few bucks if you pre-order it. It's at $12.99, but it's cheaper. So, yeah.
All right. Remind us of that when we get a little back into September.
Okay.
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 All right. We'll be right back.